I'm gonna start telling a story. On October 27th, I was gonna call my dad to ask him a question about my bank account. Then I heard his voice and he said, "Jeremy, did you hear what happened?" I said, "No, Dad, what?" He said, "Did you hear what's going on right now?" I said, "No, Dad, what?" He said, "There's a shooter in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, and he's shooting people right now. He's shooting people right now." And my dad's voice broke. "He's shooting people right now." And I was wearing a hat, and I threw the hat to the ground, and I listened to my dad cry, and I felt really afraid for myself. My grandparents knew that when politicians plant seeds of fear and hate, those seeds turn into bullets and blood. Now I know that too. So I listened to my dad cry, and I felt afraid. And then I grew up.
Welcome to New York.
Oh, hi guys.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Maybe should go. Yeah.
All right.
I love the sign.
You like
You like
the
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that
Smiley
face
face is included. Yeah.
and that one.
This is for the Green New Deal. This one right here.
Give us your bag. Come on.
Okay, I will.
I know you don't want to.
But I'll take the gift.
You're in New York now.
Is this your first time in the city?
You guys know the Newsies?
I feel as though I have to speak again. Everyone says, Jeremy, don't say you don't know. It's okay. But I have to say that I also feel in all of this, even as we need to keep repeating our message and keep talking about people and relationships and community, I feel like a student and a learner and a listener. That's what I would like to be. That's what I aspire to be, is someone who listens better and listens more, always.
You know, every conversation Laura and I have had with all the people that are going to be interviewed tonight, they all talk about the speech you gave outside of Speaker Pelosi's office and the love that they have for you.
I am so focused on seeing it in other people that I don't want them. I don't want them to see it in me. That's the damn thing. People come up to me, say, Jeremy, in the damn bookstore where I worked in December, people are like, whoa, are you the kid who? And I say, yup. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about why you care. I want to be me. And so then I want everyone to be everyone else, because the other piece of it is, it's no fun and no good and not powerful.
There's an undercurrent of connecting with other people that is so necessary in our lives.
Yeah.
And in your life.
Mm-hmm.
This is a theme that is running up.
Mm-hmm. I guess what we need, yeah, the word there is courage.
Because we have endured bullets and storms and fires. Because we have had to grow up one too many times. Speaker Pelosi, Democratic leadership, we are asking you to grow up. When will you confront? Speaker Pelosi, when will you confront the roots of division and hatred? When will you come up with a plan to stop the climate crisis and defend the home?
The trick is to find something in ourselves and trust ourselves. And there's a caveat in there, which is that this doesn't mean we're all right. This doesn't mean we're all gifted with righteousness. No one here is marked so that everything we do is good, but that there's something in us that we can trust. And there is something in us that we don't have to be ashamed by. That actually people can embrace.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing this weekend, where you're gonna go.
Tonight I'm going to the studio. I'm gonna see folks I haven't seen, I think, for a while. People my age who've been doing the work. I'm thinking of Griffin and Saira. People who are so good at doing stuff. So focused, so diligent. And I'm looking forward to this just because every time, every moment when I can be with someone in person is a moment when something cool will happen. So this project of like bringing together all these people who are gonna talk about issues they're fighting for and why, I think is cool simply because all these people are gonna have a chance to meet each other. My friend, a guy named Ben, who I lived with for a while in Downingtown, outside Philly where we knock doors and organized, he says that the essence of someone's life can't be separated from the people we're around, which I really love. And it has a lot of like implications for how we should live as people. Like we should surround ourselves with people we love, and also in society, we've got to rely on each other a little bit.
Quiet on set.
Okay, so we're good. We're rolling sound. All right.
You scoot a little bit to your right.
You just like in the chair.
If I look at the camera sometimes, don't worry, I'm looking at you just through the monitor.
Cool.
My name is Violet Kopp.
Griffin Gould.
Jeremy Oliver Sherry Ornstein.
Saira Salyani. Taylor Nicole Turner.
My name is Sofia Ongele.
I'm 17 years old.
I'm 17.
I'm 18 years old.
18. I'm 18.
I'm 18 years old.
First idea that you have, first word that comes to mind, you tell me, okay? Democracy.
Individual.
Unity.
Empathy.
Hope.
Strength.
Tell me a little bit about your family. Did you guys talk a lot about politics, or maybe never talk about politics at all?
Yeah, so my family talks about politics all the time, more often than is healthy. My grandparents were all running for office. They all held positions of office in East Africa. My dad went to his first political rally when he was around 4 years old.
I grew up with both my parents being registered Republicans. It wasn't until probably the 2008 election that I became cognizant that there was another party and that there was another way that you could look at things. Moving around a lot helped me meet new people that showed me that this is their view, and I would learn from them and grow from them.
I think part of my story that's important, that like refugee immigrant past, and that Jewish upbringing that's taught me so much about the importance of community and responsibility for one another. I feel like that's why I'm here at Root, and everything else is a product of that.
My name is Saira Salyani, and I'm a sophomore in Great Valley High School in Malvern, Pennsylvania. Over the past year, I've been campaigning for candidates, organizing fundraisers, and raising awareness for issues that I care about.
Talk to me about some of the issues. If you had to pick one specific issue that is closest to your heart.
The climate crisis, when it comes, is gonna hurt some people first. And it's gonna hurt the people who've been hurt and put in places for a long time.
When will you come up with a plan to stop the climate crisis and defend the homes of millions of would-be climate refugees? When will you embrace a Green New Deal? When, Speaker Pelosi?
Definitely climate change. I feel like there's a lot of things I'm very passionate about, being women's rights and the Black Lives Matter movement and things of that nature, but I feel like none of that will exist if the planet doesn't exist.
If you're in high school right now, by the time you graduate college,
I think we can change the way public schools are funded, because it's not fair that property taxes determine what quality of education you'll receive. Right now we have a cycle where if you're born into a neighborhood with low property taxes, you'll receive a lower quality education than your peers. So I think we need to have a really drastic solution to make sure that everyone has an equal chance to succeed.
If you get to the root of the problem, which is the influence of money in politics, you can cut the problem out.
The first thing I would say is I think the voting age should be lower. I do have a voice because I'm able to go out and protest, and if you make the voting age lower, more people are going to have access to democracy, which we don't have now.
The access to abortion and reproductive rights, since just recently the domestic gag rule was released and will go into effect if there's a court injunction. So I feel like being a woman activist now is really important, because this is an issue that directly affects us, and we need to be able to stand up and talk about it.
When I say the phrase youth activism, can you speak a little bit about the advantages that this generation has in this place in the world?
Young people are best positioned to make change because we come at the intersection of criticality and hope, that we see the world's pain and we also see the world's possibility. So that's the first thing. It's like our attitude.
I think our generation is really passionate about making a difference, and I think it's because we're going to be dealing with the effects of climate change for the rest of our lives. Many of us will be paying off student loans for decades. And we also live in an era where you could walk into your school, work, or place of worship and be a victim of gun violence.
Like the first, second, and third time I read about kids being shot in schools. And when we all learned about the lead in the water in Flint. And every time that I read or see about the aftermath of climate-fueled disasters, like the fires that are killing people,
having people my age, take to the streets, whether it's for climate change or for gun violence prevention or for women's rights, is my generation claiming our place in the world, claiming how we're gonna be as adults. We're saying we're not gonna stand for these injustices, and we're not waiting until we're old enough to make change. We're making it now.
Talk a little bit about social media.
I think that the rise of social media has given a lot of youth from a myriad of backgrounds a huge platform to just speak their mind, share it with other people. There could be people from small towns that don't hear the stories of other people because of lack of access, but then with technology, with social media, I feel like there's this kind of cultural exchange going on that hadn't happened as much before.
Technology allows us to share information and expose corruption in a way that helps us force political leaders to be on our side, and also helps us rally the forces to get more young people to unite.
The 192nd General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts gathered here today to collectively address the climate crisis and take the action that our elected officials have failed to take.
What do you think the disadvantages are of social media? And I'll just say this. Social media makes its money as an advertising platform. Because social media feeds us something that we already know that we like, how do you build community from different points of view when the environment is feeding the same views that you already agree with?
I think it's really beneficial because, I guess because the advertising has its good parts and bad parts. It definitely made people more polarized because we're constantly being exposed to nothing but views that we agree with.
It's an advantage because it has created a global community who are all passionate about fighting for change, who are all educating each other on what's going on in their parts of the world, and it creates advocacy. So you see that in the Me Too movement, you see that after Parkland, people retweeting things, sharing things, sparking a movement.
If somebody comes up to us with their argument that's different from ours, we feel like we've already seen it, so we can just dismiss it and kind of laugh at them because we feel like we've already justified our position a million times over, so why listen to someone who doesn't agree with us? I try to, in person, do things because I think online it's just way too difficult because you don't have that real connection with people. And I think that if you talk to people with different opinions in person, you'll find that there are some similarities. Democrats and Republicans want to reach the same end goal, but we just have really different ideas of how to do it. So I think sometimes we can just agree over our shared values, and then try to find some kind of, try to find a way to listen to other people better.
We need to have this immediacy in terms of sharing videos and photos and keeping each other aware, but we also need to be listening. And if it gets to a point where we're talking so loudly, we're tweeting so much, we're posting so much to our stories that we're not reading other people's work and listening to other people, that is a real danger.
Last year, I was the chair of the High School Democrats of America, the most incredible group of inspiring, hardworking young people who have had to grow up one too many times. I wonder if you remember this past June.
The first time I saw that video, it was with my local Arlington High Young Progressives Club. And I remember we watched the video, and we all just sat back and said, damn.
Because we have endured bullets and storms and fires, because we have had to grow up one too many times.
The video was so impactful because of where it was, specifically like outside of Nancy Pelosi's office, which made it that much more close to the people that need to be making the change.
The thing about Jeremy's speech that was so powerful was he felt that weight fall on him, that disillusionment, that resolve fall. And then he said, no, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make change, and I'm gonna hold others accountable to grow up.
It's so easy to get up, to get caught up in the fierce urgency of now. That's what Martin Luther King called his I Have a Dream speech, the fierce urgency of now, because there's always a now and it's always urgent. That's the condition of our times. But we weren't just protesting these like political leaders, but we were ushering in a new era of politics. And we were doing it by bringing a lot of people together and by speaking really clearly about our moral priorities in the context of real experiences and an actual policy demand.
And she's like, grab a book, grab a book. So I took a book. It was a tiny book, but I took a book and I held it up. And I believe maybe the book kind of deterred some of the bullets.
I know you did get some bullet wounds, and I know your best friend was shot right next to you.
Yeah.
Do you know how she's doing?
Yeah.
Have you been able to hear what happened to her?
Yeah, unfortunately, she didn't make it.
Samantha, we're so...
Yeah.
We're so sorry about that, Samantha. So sorry. Are you okay, honey?
I'm okay. Thank you.
We both went to school in Parkland. We both went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And one of my friends, Helena Ramsey, was one of the 17 victims. That kind of signified my beginning into really getting into politics. That was kind of the point when I realized that this is what I was doing it for, that I was doing it for Helena and for all the other victims, because I didn't want her name to become another face and another name in the endless sea of mass shooting victims. I could be a person who could really make a change and help preserve not only Helena's legacy, but also keep other people safe.
I want for a moment for you just to close your eyes. And I want you to consider what happens if in 10 years from now, your voice isn't heard. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
That is always a possibility of change not happening. And as much as it hurts to be beaten down, I don't think it's a reason to stop fighting, ever.
It's upsetting, it's infuriating, but you can't give up. If you know something is right, it's what you have to do.
I know that even if my voice isn't heard, or another person's voice isn't heard, at some point it will be heard.
Obviously, going to keep fighting, going to keep marching, going to keep organizing, going to continue to use my voice to spread truth rather than lies.
The big changes are not just in the laws, they're in the power we're building with each other. It's in the people who came here today. And in 10 years, there will be 100 more of those people, or whatever. 1,000 more of those people speaking 10 times more clearly about something that's 10 times closer and more tangible.
We know that we have no choice but to get to work. Because we know that we have no choice but to hope. Because I know I have no choice but to hope.